Today is June 30th, 2025. It is day 13 of what I am doing is the Scott Adams simulation, where I am writing down 15 times to have an interview with Scott Adams on simulation theory. I'm at 11, let's do 12. And this is coming from his episode 971, a micro lesson on affirmations. And in that micro lesson, Scott says that if you write something down 15 times every single day, it will happen. So I'm writing this down. I've got some things that I need to do, that I need to enact. I need to do some of these things tomorrow. But I didn't do them today. So I've got 13, 14, I've got 3 more to write, and then that's going to be the end of the video for tonight. That's done. So I'm going to bury something that I assume nobody will see, but I kind of want to have it on record. Minty Cad might see this because he is my only subscriber that tends to watch my videos every single day. And I'm going to give a quick prediction on XRP, which is a cryptocurrency. And on another channel at another time, I'll dig into my views on XRP, stocks, futures, Forex, options. I'll kind of drill into each one of those. I'll go down those rabbit holes. What I want to talk about today is XRP futures, and specifically the micro XRP futures and the December contract of 2025. So I have purchased, and it was actually on June 13th, 2025, so a couple weeks ago, I bought 20 contracts of XRP, micro XRP futures, which is equivalent to a single contract of the mini XRP futures, which is in total, the 20 contracts is the same as having 50,000 XRP. So the price movements and what's the word I'm looking for? When the price goes up, it would be as if I owned 50,000 XRP, but I only had to pay about half. 20 contracts to be able to carry it overnight is a little over $3,000 a contract. It's a little more than $60,000. It's about, I want to say, somewhere around $62,000. And the prediction I'm making is that by the end of the year, by December, it will be, in my opinion, and this I am not giving financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I am just a guy on the internet in case anybody else happens to see this video. This is not financial advice. In fact, don't do what I'm doing. I'm going to tell you what I have done. I am telling you to not do it. When you invest your money, you need to do your own research, look at your own risk, make your own decisions, get a professional advisor if you need it. Don't listen to me. Okay, with that out of the way, if you knew in the future, in December, 6 months from now, that the price of XRP would be more than $10, wouldn't it be great to buy it today as a leveraged asset and make even more money in the future? So that's what I did. I actually sold 25,000 XRP that I was holding just for long-term growth, right? And I used that to basically buy 50,000 XRP. Right now the leverage is really low. You can get 50 to 1 leverage in some asset classes like the index funds. During the day, some exchanges will give you like 200 to 1 leverage on this stuff. It's crazy. It means a very little amount of money, capital, can control a lot of implied assets, leveraged assets. Right now with XRP, it's so new, you're not getting much. To keep it overnight, you need you're only getting about 2 to 1 leverage. So what would cost me for 25,000 is I'm able to control about 50,000 XRP. I think there's a potential that it could go well more than $10. It's possible, not likely, right? The chances of this happening are pretty low. But one of the things I want to talk to Scott Adams about the simulation is if we live in a simulation, then either, I don't know how to say this, can we create our future, right? That's the question. Can we create our future? I have a $1 million bill, it's fake. It's in my bedroom. It's a big picture. And my goal is, to make $1 million on a stock trade, a futures trade, a forex trade, and a options trade. So the more capital you have, if you have $10 million, you could make $1 million on a trade. You just need to make 10%. If you have a couple $100,000, you could do it on a stock trade if the stock doubles or triples quickly. Can I do it with futures with $62,000? I bought 20 contracts at $2.23. Right now, if you look at the CME website and you look at the micro XRP futures and you look at the overnight open interest, you'll see that there's 22 contracts. So somebody else had 2 contracts. There were 4 contracts, and then somebody sold 2 of those contracts. So down to 2 contracts, and now I bought 20 contracts. There's 22 contracts. I have 20 of them, and I'm holding them until December. I have no stop and no target. I have additional money in that account so that if the price were to drop, I can hold on to it. It would have to drop back down to 50 cents for me to bust the bank, so that's not a concern. I'm just holding on to it. There's no stop, no target. Don't do that. If you know how to trade, you don't trade without a stop. Don't do what I'm doing. my stop is bankrupt, right? It's all losing all $62,000. I'm not advising that, or potentially more, because I've got more in that account. If it gets to $22.23, so I bought it at $2.23. In fact, let me go ahead and write this. Micro XRP futures, December, contract of 2025. So 20 contracts at $2.23. I think I got it. If it gets to $22.23, if it goes up $20, that's $1 million of profit. If it goes up to $42.23, that would be $2 million. Not likely, but it is possible by the end of the year that it could be at above $22.23. And that's my goal, my target. If we live in a simulation, then I would have a $1 million futures profit if we live in a simulation. That would be crazy. Usually if you make $500, $1,000 in a day, that's a good day. If you made $10,000 in a month, that would be a good month. You know, $120,000 a year trading futures, that would be crazy. This would be a trade that would cover like 10 years. That's my prediction. I don't know, and I'll write it down. Put June 30. So today's June 30th. I'm popping that in there. The prediction is that it will go over to $22.23 by the end of the contract. So the contract expires, I forget exactly, I think it's the last Friday of the month of December. I need to figure out exactly what day rollover happens, which is probably like 3 to 5 days before that. And I would probably yank my money out of there at least a week before contract expiration, because what happens is liquidity goes down and then it's harder to get the price that you want. So I'd want to get out of there. But I have it and I own it, and I'm putting it in this video hoping that nobody sees this, but I can come back to it in the future and show that I do own 20 contracts in the December micro XRP futures, December of 2025, 20 contracts that I bought at $2.23. So let's see what happens. Thanks, guys. And I wrote down all 15 times that I'll have an interview with Scott Adams, and maybe we can talk about this if it happens.